Hello, very good evening and welcome to Spray TV Primetime News. I am Akash Vasantapevituru. Let's look at the headline tonight.
SL government Dinesh LTTE supporters. India says LTTE activity even after ban. India led ODI matches.
Sri Lankan government decided the request made by the LTTE activities on obtaining dual citizenship in this country.
600 LTTE supporters requested to grant dual citizenship and also said that they are willing to make foreign investments in the northern province. Businessmen from the northern province also requested the government to grant dual citizenship to LTTE activities. According to the local media's reports, LTTE supporters willing to visit Sri Lanka to resemble and take future activities of their movement. 2 years ago, Immigration and Immigration Department of the Sri Lanka government stopped issuing dual citizenship in this country.
United National Party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe said today he considered it a joke to seek a Supreme Court opinion on the constitutional plea of President Mahinda Rajapaksa contesting the presidential election for the third term.
Ranil Wickremesinghe told a meeting organized by the Green Blood movement that a Supreme Court binding because it was not a verdict of the court. Mr. Wickremesinghe said in such a scenario one could still file action if President Rajapaksa hands over nomination to contest for the third term. However, he said the best option available move out of the crisis was to implement the 90th Amendment to the Constitution as proposed by JHU parliamentarian the Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathero, who had through this amendment sought to reduce the powers of the executive presidency.
Pope Francis is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka on January 30th of 2015 and will address in general public religious observations on 14th morning.
Pope will visit Manor on 14th evening. It is believed at least 5 million Catholic devotees will participate in these religious observations. Urge decided to inform about the arrival of total numbers of devotees. Pope Francis will hold a discussion with President Mahinda Rajapaksa and several religious leaders, Colombo Bishop House spokesperson Rev. Cyril Gamini said.
Most Sri Lankan labourers are facing a lot of problems outside of the country. And this is the segment of Sri Investigator.
මෙම හද කම්පා කරවන දර්ශනය තවමත් නොපෙනී නොදැනී ඇතැයි අපවත් නොදනී. එහෙත් ජීවිතයක් අහිමි.
Saudi Arabia has beheaded a Sri Lankan domestic worker for killing a baby in her care in 2005 in a case that has been widely condemned by rights groups. The maid, Rizana Nafik, had denied killing a 4-month-old boy. Her supporters say she was only 17 at the time of the killing. They say her execution in a breach of international child rights. The Sri Lankan government condemned the execution, which it said took place despite numerous clemency pleas. The Saudi Interior Minister said Ms. Nafik was executed for smothering the infant after the argument with child's mother in the town of Al Dhwani. News of the execution came on the same day that the International Labour Organization said that laws were needed urgently to give gather protection to domestic workers. The ILO report estimates that only about 10% of the domestic workers, about 5.3 million people, are covered by labor laws to same degrees as other workers. In Sri Lanka itself, the execution has rekindled debate about the safety of expatriate workers in the Middle East and about the poverty which drives people, including Ms. Nafik, to seek work abroad. It appears that employment agents falsified Rizana Nafiq's age to that she could work in Saudi Arabia. She said that in initial confession was made under duress without linguistic assistance. Supporters said that she also had no access to lawyers before her conviction. Saudi Arabia is one of just 3 countries that executes people for crimes they committed as children, said senior HRW women's rights researcher Nisha Varia. Rizana Nafiq is yet another victim of deep flaws in Saudi Arabia's judicial system. In 2012, Saudi Arabia executed at least 69 people, says Human Rights Watch. The previous year it executed at least 79, including 5 women, says Amnesty International. The death toll includes 1 woman beheaded with witchcraft and sorcery. According to reports in Sri Lanka and information received by Amnesty International, LP Arivati, a 49-year-old mother of 3 children, was severely abused by her employers in Saudi Arabia when she complained about her heavy workload. Her employers are alleged to have driven 24 nails and a needle into her hands, legs and forehead, causing severe injuries which required hours to surgery when she returned home to Sri Lanka in August. Some of the nails are reported to have been up to 5 centimeters long. Doctors who treated her in Sri Lanka said she had been deeply traumatized by her experience. She had reportedly traveled to Saudi Arabia to obtain employment as a domestic servant, as many other Sri Lankan women to do help support their families in March 2010. She is reported to have told doctors that she was subjected to abuse in July before she left her employment and returned to Sri Lanka. Some state authorities have recognized this and identified a need for effective monitoring and protection mechanisms to be established in labor-receiving countries as set out, for example, in Sri Lanka's National Labour Migration Policy of 2008. But as yet, little has been done to put such measures in place. Employers may accuse domestic workers, especially those from Indonesia, of witchcraft. Victims of rapes and sexual assault are at risk of being accused of adultery and fornication. Migrants are also said to struggle to gain access to lawyers and translators, and it is not uncommon, according to Human Rights Watch, for the Saudi authorities to prevent those arrested from contacting their embassies.
එයාගේ දැම්මොත් එයාගේ ඒජන්සි රටේ වැයෙනවා එයාට පාඩු වෙනවායි කියලා මාව දවස් දෙකකින් යවන්නම් කියලා පොලිසිය ඉස්සරහා පොරොන්දු වෙලා සෞදියේ මාව මාසයක් තියාගෙන ඇරියේ කණ්ඩ බොන්න නැතුව දුක්.
Is the Sri Lankan government silent behind this act like this? The Sri Lankan government talks only the foreign exchange came from there. This unroll from the high commissioners who lives in these countries and the Sri Lankan Bureau of Foreign Employment. Pay your attention about this sense. Have you do your job correctly? Is that so? Is there more any sense?
Western Provincial Councillor and leader of Jatika Hela Urumaya, Udaya Gammampila, has said that his party will not remain with the United People Freedoms Alliance government if they do not respond to the proposal presented by the JHU.
The Provincial Council Minister made this remark while addressing a political seminar in Colombo. If the government fails to engage in politics with self-respect, there is no point of us remaining with a lost case, Gammampila said. Gammampila assisted that even though JHU presented an agenda to the ruling party, the government party has so far failed to come up with a positive response. It is not a secret that we are displeased with the ruling party's inability to agree with our demands, and we have already announced that we do not wish to remain in the government party, is said. The JHU leader maintained that even though the two-thirds majority was always with President Mahinda Rajapaksa, he failed to use this for well-being of people but for his own advantage. The JHU assisted that the government should implement constitutional amendment before implementing the next presidential election.
The Indian central government as well as the state of Tamil Nadu have submitted before a tribunal that has per the document and oral evidence on records the LTTE continues to participate violent.
A special tribunal constituted by the Delhi High Court has received its verdict on whether the centre's ban on the LTTE needs to be upheld. The tribunal, headed by Justice G.P. Mittal, received its order after conclusion of argument by the government represented by Advocate Anil Soni as well as other parties in the matter. Despite a continuous ban on LTTE since 1992 in India, its activities continue to pose a threat and are detrimental to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of India directly or through various pro-LTTE organizations. The government has submitted before the tribunal. The central and state government have also submitted that the LTTE and pro-LTTE groups have been active in Tamil Nadu even during the period of the ban on the outfit since May 2012. The LTTE has been banned for a further 5 years under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act by the central government.
Coming up next, island-wide in few seconds.
Police has launched investigation into an accident where an 11-year-old girl at Ilakatia area in Valapane was killed after falling into the unprotected well. Police stated that the girl had thus fallen into the well on Sunday night. The body of child is being kept at the Valapane hospital for the post-mortem examination. RMS Sarath Kumar, the Commissioner of the Department of Registration of Persons, has announced before the presidential election could take place, the national identity card should be provided to everyone. Colombo Crime Division has initiated investigation into the death of the policeman whose body was found in the coastal area of Valavatta. The body of the policeman was found in the reef of the beach near 47th lane of Valavatta. Two more suspects in connection with the attack on the Sabaragamu students' Satyagraha hut at Pambahinna have arrested to the Samanalawewa police. The Samanalawewa police said the two suspects are attached to the Sabaragamu University and resident of the same area.
A public row has arisen over which U.S. commando fired the shot that killed bin Laden more than 3 years after the Al-Qaeda leader's death.
We have a saying, don't run to your death. So nice and slow, and we head up the stairs.
Khalid is dead on this landing. The point man is...
Ex-Navy SEAL Robert O'Neill, 38, has told the Washington Post in an interview that he fired the fatal shot. This contradicts our account of Mac Biston, another former SEAL involved in the riot in a 2012 book. The Al-Qaeda leader has killed in a 2011 Navy SEAL raid on his compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Navy SEALs usually abide by a code of silence that forbids them from publicly taking credit for their actions.
Saw the point man. He steps in to the room, literally rushes the two women, grabs one under each arm, and pushes them back against the far wall. So if they did have a suicide vest on and they did blow themselves up, that wouldn't affect the rest of the guys.
But it would have killed him.
Yeah.
US President Barack Obama is said to have written a secret letter to Iran's supreme leader describing a shared interest in fighting Islamic State.
President Barack Obama and Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
The letter, reported by the Wall Street Journal, urged Ayatollah Ali Khamenei toward a nuclear agreement. The US chief stressed any cooperation on fighting ISIS contingent on Iran reaching such an agreement by a 24th November diplomatic deadline. The White House has declined to comment on Mr. Obama's private correspondence.
There is a long tradition of mistrust between the two countries. Whether they can manage to say yes to what clearly would be better for Iran, better for the region, and better for the world is an open question. We'll find out over the next several weeks.
Negotiations on the nuclear issue are set to start this weekend between representatives from both countries in Oman. According to the Wall Street Journal, Washington officials have placed the chances of a deal at only 50-50.
Sri Lanka's second ODI teams collided in the Indian team. The team defeated Sri Lanka, won by 6 wickets.
That's a field set here, folks. That is important to you at home. It's important to the batsman at the crease. As it determines where Dhoni might be looking to score.
A couple of days ago, he was ruled out of the series. Surprised everyone when he walked out there to lead India, and it has come down to him.
Dot ball is a big ball, 15 off 5 required.
But that was dangerous. It was on a length, slightly outside off stump.
Sri Lankan team has played in a series of 5 ODIs. Indian team to victory in the first ODI, second ODI and Ahmedabad started today. The currency in circulation, winning Sri Lankan captain Angelo Mathews decided to batting. Thus, according to the opening Dilshan, Pereira came Kusal. Kusal Pereira dismissed without scoring in a position to take them. Sangakkara then teamed up with Dilshan. Dilshan scored 55 runs in the action when the team scored 35 runs. His innings included 7 fours. Next, Jayawardene Sangakkara partnered with. Given that the Indian team would be devastating to both, the bowling of Ashwin's bowling Jayawardene was unsettled by 4 runs. Sangakkara scored a continued opportunity for the patient in the past. He accumulated 61 runs, walked out to catch him in the underlane. Following Prasanna Kumar Sangakkara, Priyanjan, Thisara Pereira, Suraj Randev was dismissed by the order. Captain Mathews played until the last patient 92 runs of 101 balls were set up. Prasad was with him in the standing with 30 runs.
Isn't he something, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, under pressure? India can sense hope.
And why not? 5 runs required of 3 balls with Mahendra Singh Dhoni. You have to go with India. Again length. He was going down the ground but sliced this time. He got it away from the fielder in the deep.
That's all for the news today. Have a good night.